Cinema, the greatest storyteller of all time. The UK's first independent cinema opened in 1896, located on Regent Street, London, and is regarded as the birthplace of British cinema. The 1930s and 40s marked cinema's golden age, with it viewed as the principal form of entertainment and the highest attendances in Britain reaching over 31 million each week. Over the decades, cinemas continued to grow in prominence within the leisure industry as large corporate chains began appearing like the Odeon. In recent years, while the larger chains have seemingly prospered, independent cinemas have struggled, with many facing the threat of closure. But what are the reasons for their struggles? And what can we do to save these national treasures of our cinema history from being lost forever?
Independent cinemas tend to stream more like indie, art house, foreign and non-mainstream films and are closer with their local communities, whereas the larger multiplex chains will play the popular blockbusters as they come out.
My name's Jim Beirne. I'm the chair of Tyneside Cinema. Tyneside is close to many people's hearts. You know, it's a great little cinema. If there's a place you want to go to watch a movie, that's the place. It has a special atmosphere. Its programme is great and the people are really lovely. So it actually opened as the Bijou Newsreel Cinema in 1937. And it's just grown over the years into becoming Tyneside Cinema, into doing film festivals, adding screens. The Tyneside has really struggled for a number of reasons. There have been funding cuts all across the country, and that includes organisations like Tyneside. Of course, during COVID, all film production stopped, and that had a major effect on all cinemas around the world because nobody was making films. So people go to the movies to catch up on the latest releases, and if there are no new releases, you know, there is sort of almost nothing to go for. So it means that your programme is less enticing. Since the pandemic, the audience didn't come back. They were nervous, but it opened, and we're hoping that some of the audience would come back, but so little of the audience came back at the start. That was one major kind of issue. And then you just layer the cost of living and cost of electricity. Our electricity bill went from 60 to 200,000. It made it completely untenable. Put all that together and it's a real catastrophe.
And unfortunately, these aren't the only contributing factors within this independent cinema crisis. Streaming services rose dramatically after the pandemic's lockdown, with research showing that subscriptions to streaming networks have increased 17% since July 2019, now making it the most popular way to watch film in the UK.
Streaming has made film incredibly easy to access. You can carry it literally in your pocket. You can watch film any place, any time now. Whereas with a cinema, you are subject to a place, you have to be here, and you have to be here at a certain time, which makes it much more difficult. And of course, when you come to a cinema, you take the risk. You might not like the film. If you're using streaming, you can flick the film off if you don't like it and watch something else.
Because during the lockdown it was so hard for even people who really love cinema to get into the cinemas, I think that's where streaming services really picked up and became the dominant way of people watching movies and TV shows and stuff like that.
The thing that streaming doesn't give you is the big screen experience. So yes, streaming does negatively impact cinema because it removes that risk of viewing, but it also loses quite a lot of the film because you're not going somewhere special to watch this on this big screen. It's harder for independent cinemas because we have no fallback. The money we bring in on the admissions in this particular cinema is what we have to rely on. Whereas chains of cinemas, obviously, all their money goes into one big pot and they have, you know, much bigger backers and such like, whereas we don't, we rely on ourselves entirely. And that is the problem. When you come into a cinema like our cinema, you are coming for much more than the kind of faceless experience you get at multiplex. You know, the whole building's obviously very Art Deco and it's got that very vintage feel to it. Yeah, it's a very much more personal feel to it when people come along, and I don't think you get that in multiplexes. You know, you kind of pointed at where you go and it's one of those screens along there or whatever, and here buy popcorn for 5 million quid. I think it is really important to have these gorgeous little places.
Independent cinema is really the crux of the industry for people like me at the moment who are sort of up and coming directors and writers and people who want to start creating. If there's no forum for our sort of art and our sort of cinema, then there's no opportunity for us to kind of develop anymore. This is like the foundation of our whole creative career.
And the other thing, we can offer quite a lot more as a cinema, so we really encourage people to come and bring their kind of almost homemade films to us. Now, they can't put those on at the Odeon, but what we sort of try to say to people is this is a piece of the community and it's yours, so come and play with it.
Our audiences, you know, want to help. The most important thing for them to do is to come and see the movies at the Tyneside, to come to the programme, buy some drinks in the bar, have something to eat, and be regular visitors to the Tyneside. That's the most important thing. There is one more thing, I suppose, which is that if all our audiences talked about the Tyneside to their friends and entice them to come, that's important. Then they're supporting us by coming. With all of those things in place, I think that we will get there. It's just going to be a bit of a tough journey.